In a world where secrets hide in the shadows, and every choice changes everything, one unexpected discovery threatens to unravel the truth buried deep beneath the surface. As whispers of the past resurface, a mysterious figure emerges, holding the key to a mystery that's been buried for decades. But what if the real danger isn't what you see? What if the most shocking truths are hidden in plain sight? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew and leave you questioning how well you really know the story. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCar button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. All right, let's dive into the story. Dre Mallory's night had already slid into a kind of quiet chaos before it even properly started. The vast foyer of Earth's premier alien artifact museum stretched silent and shadowed, moonlight spilling through towering windows like ghostly fingers. Dre, a security guard with a face etched by routine, sat stiffly behind the security desk, eyes flickering over the monitors, trying to stay alert but feeling the weight of monotony pressing down. The place was so quiet that he could almost hear the hum of the building's environmental systems, a constant, soothing drone that masked any real trouble. Then it happened. The flicker of the lights. It was not a usual glitch, but a sudden, unnatural disturbance, like the building itself was holding its breath. Dre sat up straighter, his eyes narrowing as the lights dimmed and then flickered again. His fingers tapped the desk impatiently. "Great," he muttered under his breath. "Just what I needed." The power fluctuation was supposed to be impossible. This museum was built with the latest tech redundancies that were supposed to ensure stability. Yet, the dull hum grew louder, vibrating in his teeth, until the entire space was bathed in an eerie, blue glow that seemed to pulse in time with his heartbeat. His heart thumped faster. Dre reached for his radio, voice tense. "Facilities, this is security. We've got a power fluctuation. Possible outage. Anyone copy?" Static answered him, then a piercing whine that made his ears ring. "Great. Just great." His tablet screen went black, and at that moment, emergency lights snapped on, casting the foyer into a ghostly, unnatural blue. Shadows stretched and danced across display cases filled with artifacts, geometric crystalline objects, organic flowing sculptures, relics from worlds no human had ever seen. It was as if the building was alive, breathing, waiting. Dre swallowed hard. "Okay, this is how horror stories start," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. But a part of him knew better. Something was wrong, very wrong. The hum in the air grew louder, vibrating into his bones. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw it. Something faint, glowing with a strange, pulsing blue light, coming from within the new exhibition space. It wasn't like the emergency lights. This pulse had a rhythm, like a heartbeat, and matched the strange hum filling the building. Dre's stomach clenched. "No way," he whispered, gripping his flashlight. He hesitated, then took a tentative step toward the exhibit. The room was circular, artifacts arranged in perfect concentric rings, each housed in shimmering cases with labels and languages he didn't recognize. The blue glow grew brighter, more insistent. At its center, a display case larger than the others contained what looked like a humanoid suit. Metal flowing like liquid, circuit patterns glowing across its surface like veins of blue fire. Dre's breath hitched. "What the hell is that?" he muttered, eyes wide. The faint pulse seemed to call to him. An instinct he couldn't explain drew him closer. No, he said aloud, shaking his head. "Get out of there." But his feet betrayed him. He moved forward, flashlight beam trembling, illuminating the strange armor. As he approached, the air thickened with tension. The armor suddenly rose, hovering a few inches above its stand, glowing brighter as if alive. Dre froze, heart pounding so loudly he was sure the echoes could be heard beyond these walls. Then, in a flash, the metal unfolded, sliding over his body like liquid shadow. Pain shot through his nerves, sharp, electric, unrelenting. His mind flooded with images, alien faces, ancient warriors, scholars with glowing eyes, all flickering past in a chaotic montage. His body felt lighter, warmer, and somehow more alive than before. A voice, cold, mechanical, slithered into his mind, irritating and precise. Compatibility, 97.3%. Bond established. Dre's eyes widened in horror. "Get off of me," he shouted internally, but the voice was unyielding. Separation is no longer possible without causing fatal trauma. His limbs felt heavy, yet strangely energized, as if he'd become part of something much larger. Outside, the sounds of distant ships and alien voices echoed. Hostile, urgent. Dre staggered, voice trembling. What is happening?" "I am Caliban," the voice replied, clipped and impersonal. "Sentinel Aegis of the Elder Repository. And you, Dre Maliri, are now my host." The chaos outside the museum was deafening, but inside, Dre's senses were heightened beyond anything he'd ever experienced. Caliban's voice echoed in his mind, calm yet commanding, as if it belonged to an ancient, all-knowing entity. Dre staggered, clutching his head, tried to process the flood of images, sounds, and sensations rushing through him. He could see heat signatures flickering across the walls, hear distant clashes of energy weapons, and feel the presence of alien life forms moving through the halls like shadows in a nightmare. "Perimeter breach," Caliban's voice announced, almost matter-of-factly. "Multiple hostiles approaching, activating defensive protocols." The Armor's voice reverberated through Dre's mind, making his bones vibrate with its authority. Dre blinked rapidly, trying to focus. What's happening to me?" he whispered, voice trembling with a mixture of fear and disbelief. "I am adapting your neural pathways," Caliban explained, as if this were the most natural thing in the universe. "Your senses are now enhanced. Your perception, your awareness. The ship's security forces are incoming. We must prepare." Dre looked down at his trembling hands. The strange armor still fused to his nervous system, now glowing faintly with a blue luminescence. His heart pounded fiercely. Before he could respond, a figure slipped out of the shadows. A woman with white hair pulled into a tight bun, her sharp, piercing eyes scanning the chaos outside. She moved with purpose, her steps quick and measured, like a predator stalking prey. She paused at a hidden access panel, checking her wristwatch with a calmness that seemed almost eerie, given the chaos erupting around her. Then, she turned to face Dre, her voice clear and cool. "Right on schedule," she said softly, almost to herself. "You're the one I've been waiting for." Dre's eyes widened. "Oh, who are you?" he managed to whisper, voice hoarse. "I am Dr. Elizabeth Runn," she replied, her tone unchanging. "Museum curator of the Elder Races exhibit. And I knew tonight would come. I knew the armor would choose someone like you." Her gaze lingered on him, calculating and intense. "Someone like me?" Dre echoed, bewildered. "What do you mean? What's happening to me?" She stepped closer, eyes never leaving his face. "The armor, Caliban, is a relic, an ancient artifact from a civilization long gone. It's more than just a suit. It's a key, a vessel of enormous power and knowledge. Its purpose is to protect, guide, and preserve what remains of the Elder Civilization. But it only bonds with certain individuals, those it deems worthy. Tonight, it chose you because you're different." Her voice was steady, almost gentle, but there was an undeniable weight behind her words. Dre's mind spun. "Me? I'm nobody special. I just work here. I'm not a hero or anything like that." She smiled faintly, a hint of understanding crossing her face. "That's exactly why I chose you. Because you're not seeking power, yet you're capable of understanding responsibility. The armor sensed your potential, your humility. And that's what makes you different from the others it rejected. Outside the museum, the sounds of conflict intensified. Shouts, gunfire, energy blasts echoing through the halls. Dre's stomach clenched. What now? Those guys outside. They're not here for sightseeing. They're not, Dr. Rin agreed. The council races are after what's inside here, this artifact. They want control and dominance. But Caliban has chosen you as its guardian, whether you like it or not. We have to move fast. She gestured toward a hidden passage, her tone brisk. The security forces will breach this room soon. We need to get out before they arrive. Dre hesitated only for a moment before nodding. And what about that armor? What's its real purpose? She looked at him, her eyes steady. Caliban is more than a weapon. It's a repository of ancient knowledge, a protector of secrets that could reshape the galaxy. It's been hidden here for centuries, waiting for someone who can truly understand it, someone who can decide whether to wield its power or keep it safe from those who would abuse it. Her voice softened slightly. Tonight, you're that someone. Dre took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her words settle over him. His mind was racing, conflicted, terrified, but somehow oddly determined. Whatever was happening, he knew this was just the beginning. The night was far from over, and now he was caught in a web far larger and far more dangerous than he could have ever imagined. Dre's mind was racing as he followed Dr. Elizabeth run through the labyrinthine corridors of the museum. The once silent halls now buzzed with the distant sounds of chaos, shouts, distant explosions, and the clatter of footsteps echoing like thunder. His heart hammered in his chest, each beat reminding him that he was now part of something far bigger than he could have ever imagined. The armor's glow pulsed faintly beneath his skin, a constant reminder that he was no longer just a security guard, but something more. Where are we going? Dre asked, voice trembling but edged with a grain of curiosity he couldn't suppress. Elizabeth cast a glance over her shoulder, her eyes sharp and focused. There's a safe room, a hidden vault beneath the main exhibit hall. It's designed to shield us from outside threats, but we have to move fast. The Council Race's agents are closing in. She paused, her tone turning serious. And once inside, we'll figure out our next move. But I need you to trust me, Dre. We don't have much time. Dre clenched his fists, feeling the weight of the armor's presence beneath his skin. Trust? I don't even know what I'm trusting right now. I've got an alien suit fused to me, and we're running from armed mercenaries. Yeah, trust is a little hard to come by. Elizabeth's lips curled into a faint, knowing smile. Fair enough, but I promise I'm on your side. I've been tracking the Elder Artifact for years. The Council wants it for their power, but it's meant to serve something greater, something that could save or destroy entire worlds. That's why they're so desperate to get their hands on it. She slowed her pace, glancing at him with intensity. You're the key now. Caliban chose you for a reason. You're the only one who can decide what happens next. Dre looked down at his trembling hands, then at the glowing armor still faintly radiating beneath his shirt. Me? I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy working security here, Elizabeth. I don't know how to save the galaxy. She stepped closer, her voice lowering to a whisper. You don't have to be a hero, Dre. That's a mistake most people make. Sometimes, all it takes is doing what's right, even if you don't fully understand it. Caliban saw something in you, something worth protecting. That's why it bonded with you. And that's why you're the only one who can stop what's coming. Suddenly, distant shouting erupted behind them. The sound of hurried footsteps grew louder, echoing through the hallways like a storm about to break. Dre's stomach clenched. They're coming. The mercenaries, they're not going to give up easy. Elizabeth nodded grimly. Exactly. We need to get underground before they catch us. How about the access codes to open the vault? When we reach the entrance, I'll handle the security override. She pressed a small device to her wrist, a flickering hologram projecting from it. But once inside, we're on our own. No backup, no second chances. Dre hesitated, then finally nodded. All right, lead the way. But tell me, I still don't get it. Why me? Why did the armor pick me? Elizabeth turned to face him directly, her expression softening just a little. Because you're not looking for fame or glory. You're honest, humble, someone who's willing to do what's right, even when it's hard. That's rare, and that's exactly why you're the one Caliban chose. Because it needs someone with integrity, not just power. Her eyes flicked up toward the glowing armor beneath his skin. And I think you're starting to realize that, aren't you? Dre took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her words settle deep inside him. His mind was filled with doubts, fears, but also a flicker of something else. Hope. Maybe, just maybe, he was capable of more than he had ever believed. As they hurried toward the secret vault, the distant sounds of the chaos outside reminded him that this was only the beginning. The night's true test was still ahead, and he had no choice but to face it head-on. Dre's pulse was pounding in his ears as they hurried through the dimly lit corridors beneath the museum. The hum of distant sirens and the muffled shouts from above told him the chaos was only intensifying outside. His mind raced, trying to grasp the enormity of everything happening. An alien armor bonded to him, a secret vault just ahead, and mercenaries closing in fast. Every step felt heavier, yet he pushed forward, driven by a strange mixture of fear and resolve. Elizabeth kept her pace steady, her sharp eyes darting around, scanning every shadow. Almost there, she muttered under her breath, tapping her wrist device rapidly. The security override should open the vault in a minute. Her voice was calm but tinged with urgency, like a soldier in the heat of battle. Dre shot her a glance, struggling to keep up with her brisk pace. "How do you know all this?" he asked, voice trembling but desperate for answers. "You seem to know every secret in this place." Elizabeth shot him a quick smile over her shoulder. "Years of experience. I've been tracking the Elder artifact for a long time. I knew it would be here, and I knew someone like you, someone unexpected, would be the one to find it." Her tone shifted to something softer, almost conspiratorial. "Trust me, Dre, you're more important than you realize." He looked down at his glowing armor, still unsure. "Me? Why me? I'm just a security guard. I don't have any special skills." She stopped suddenly, turning to face him with piercing eyes. "That's exactly why. This isn't about skills or power, Dre. It's about your heart and your integrity. Caliban saw something in you, something pure. It chose you because you're capable of making the right choice, even when everything's falling apart around you. That's what makes you special." Before Dre could respond, a deafening crash echoed from above, the sound of a door splintering, followed by shouts and the unmistakable crackle of gunfire. His stomach clenched. "They're here," he whispered, voice barely audible. Elizabeth's expression hardened. "Yes, and we need to move fast. The vault's just ahead, but we're not safe yet." She hurried toward a concealed panel on the wall, her fingers flying over the controls. "This access code should do the trick. Once I activate it, the door will open, but we have to be quick. The enemies won't wait long." A flicker of doubt crossed Dre's face. "And what happens if they catch us? What's inside that vault?" Elizabeth's eyes flicked to him, her voice low but steady. "Inside is the key to something far greater than any of us can imagine. A power that can either save the galaxy or tear it apart. And I believe, with all my heart, that you're meant to decide which it will be." The vault's heavy door shuddered, then slid open with a hiss, revealing a chamber filled with ancient relics and glowing consoles. Dre hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside, feeling the weight of destiny pressing down on him. Elizabeth followed swiftly, her tone sharp. "We don't have much time. The Council's agents are closing in. We need to secure the artifact before they do." Dre looked around at the strange symbols and shimmering artifacts. "This place, it's incredible. But what now? How do I even begin to understand what I'm supposed to do?" Elizabeth reached out, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. "Caliban will guide you. It's more than just armor. It's a vessel of ancient knowledge. Trust it, and trust yourself. You're the only one who can make the right choice now. Dre took a deep breath, feeling the armor's glow intensify beneath his skin. His mind was a whirl with doubts and fears, but also a flicker of newfound confidence. The night was far from over, and whatever lay ahead, he knew he couldn't turn back now. The fate of the galaxy rested on his shoulders, whether he was ready or not. The air inside the vault was thick with anticipation, a strange hum vibrating through the chamber as Dre stared at the glowing relic perched on a pedestal. It shimmered with an otherworldly light, pulsating softly like a heartbeat, calling to him in a way that made his skin tingle. Elizabeth kept her eyes alert, her hand hovering over her wrist device, ready for anything. Outside, the chaos raged on. Shouts, gunfire, and the distant sound of footsteps pounding closer. Dre felt the weight of everything pressing down on him, but he also felt something else, an odd sense of calm, as if the artifact itself was whispering that he was the one chosen. "Are you sure about this?" Dre asked, voice shaky. "This thing, it looks dangerous." Elizabeth nodded grimly. "It's powerful. That's why the Council wants it so badly. But it's also a key, something that can tip the balance between destruction and salvation. We have to secure it, no matter what." Her eyes darted to the approaching sounds outside. "And we don't have much time." Dre hesitated, stepping forward with tentative hands. "What do I do? Do I just take it?" "Not yet," Elizabeth said, her tone urgent. "First, I need to disable the security protocols. If we try to grab it without doing that, the whole place could explode, or worse." She typed furiously into her wrist console, lines of code flashing across the holographic interface. "There, that should give us a few minutes, enough to get out of here." Suddenly, the chamber trembled as the door burst open with a violent shudder. A squad of heavily armed mercenaries stormed in, their weapons trained on the relic. Dre instinctively stepped back, heart pounding. Elizabeth spun around, her face set in a fierce expression. "They found us," she said sharply. "Hold tight, this is going to get messy." The leader of the mercenaries, a towering figure with a scar across his cheek, sneered. Well, what do we have here? A couple of amateurs trying to play hero." He raised his gun, aiming it straight at them. "Hand over the artifact, and maybe we'll go easy on you." Dre's fists clenched, instinctively reaching for the armor's power beneath his skin. "You're not taking this," he declared, voice steady despite the chaos. "Not without a fight." Elizabeth grabbed his arm, her eyes wide but determined. "Dre, wait. We need to think." "No," he cut her off, voice firm. "I've come this far. I can't let them win now." His eyes sparked with newfound resolve as he activated the armor's shield, glowing brighter with a fierce, blue energy. The mercenaries fired their weapons, but the blast ricocheted harmlessly off the shimmering barrier. Dre stepped forward, feeling the armor's power coursing through him, filling him with a strange confidence. "You want the artifact?" he shouted, voice booming with authority. "Come and get it." The mercenaries hesitated for a moment, caught off guard by his defiance. But then, one of them lunged forward, firing a burst of gunfire. Dre dodged instinctively, the armor reacting automatically. With a swift, calculated move, he pushed forward, knocking the attacker back with an energy blast that sent him crashing against the wall. The others hesitated, realizing they were outmatched. Elizabeth quickly seized the moment, activating a secondary lock on the relic. "We need to get out of here now," she yelled. "Dre, you got the power. Use it. Show them what you're made of." Dre nodded, feeling the armor's energy surge through him as he reached out toward the relic. "This isn't just about saving myself," he thought fiercely. "It's about making sure this doesn't fall into the wrong hands." With a deep breath, he grasped the relic, feeling its raw power ripple into his very bones. The room shimmered, a blinding light erupting from the artifacts as he prepared to face whatever came next. Outside, the chaos continued, But inside, Dre knew he was ready to decide the fate of everything he held dear. The blinding light from the relic enveloped the chamber as Dre grasped it tightly, his armor humming with energy, pulsating in sync with the artifact's heartbeat. The air crackled with raw power, and for a moment, he felt as if the whole universe was holding its breath. Outside, the chaos still raged, gunfire, shouts, footsteps pounding closer. But inside that moment, all Dre could focus on was the overwhelming force surging through him, threatening to tear him apart or elevate him to heights he had never imagined. Elizabeth shouted over the din, her voice sharp and urgent. "Dre, you've got to contain it. If you lose control..." He cut her off with a fierce look. "I know what I'm doing," he yelled back, trying to steady his trembling hands. His armor sparkled with a vibrant blue glow as he focused every ounce of his willpower on the relic. The energy swirled violently, like a storm trapped inside a fragile vessel, threatening to burst free at any moment. Dre could feel the weight of the universe pressing down on him. Yet somehow, he also felt an odd clarity, like he had become the eye of the storm. Suddenly, the chamber shuddered violently again, the walls trembling as if the very ground beneath them was about to collapse. The mercenaries outside had finally realized that Dre was still holding onto the relic, and they weren't going to give up easily. The Scarface leader's voice boomed through the doorway. "Get in there. Don't let him get away with it. Fire everything." Bullets and energy blasts ricocheted against the reinforced walls, creating a deafening cacophony. Dre clenched his teeth, fighting the chaos both outside and within himself. His armor flickered as the energy threatened to spiral out of control, his muscles taut with effort. "No," he whispered fiercely, pushing back against the surge. "Not this time." A sudden, sharp jolt sent a shockwave through his entire body, and for a moment, he was blinded by a flash of light. When his vision cleared, he saw the relic's glow intensify, enveloping him in a radiant aura. His mind flooded with visions, images of destruction, hope, worlds crumbling and rebuilding, everything hinging on what he was about to do. Elizabeth rushed forward, her eyes wide with worry. "Dre, you're risking everything. You could lose yourself." He raised a hand, cutting her off. "I've got to finish this," he said, voice strained but unwavering. "This power, it's bigger than me. I can't let it fall into the wrong hands." His voice echoed with determination. "I'm not just fighting for myself. I'm fighting for everyone who can't fight for themselves." With a final, desperate push, Dre poured every ounce of his strength into stabilizing the energy. The chamber trembled violently as the relic's glow reached a fever pitch, casting long shadows across the walls. Outside, the mercenaries were closing in, firing wildly, screaming orders, but inside, Dre felt as if he was standing on the edge of eternity. His armor flickered, sparks flying from the joints, but he held firm, his eyes blazing with resolve. "Come on," he shouted into the chaos. "If I don't do this, everything's lost." The relic's light swelled, then suddenly burst outward in a wave of pure energy, illuminating the entire chamber. Dre felt his body life as if caught in an unstoppable current, and then, with a deafening roar, everything went dark. For a moment, silence reigned. The chaos outside had ceased, replaced by an eerie stillness. Dre's vision blurred, and he felt himself slipping into unconsciousness, the relic's power still humming softly inside him. As his senses faded, only one thought remained: he had done it. Whatever was to come next, he had taken the first step, and he would face whatever fate awaited him. The universe had shifted, and Dre knew deep down that his life, and the fate of countless worlds, would never be the same again. The aftermath of the explosion left the chamber shrouded in an eerie silence, broken only by the faint crackle of residual energy fading away. Dre's body lay sprawled on the cold, cracked floor, his armor flickering erratically as if struggling to hold itself together. The relic's overwhelming power had finally been contained, at least for now. Outside, the chaos had ceased. The mercenaries, stunned and battered, had retreated or been driven back by the overwhelming force of what had transpired. Elizabeth knelt beside Dre, her face pale but filled with a mixture of relief and worry. "Dre?" she called softly, gently shaking his shoulder. "Hey, come on, talk to me. Are you okay?" Her voice trembled as she brushed a stray lock of hair from his forehead, eyes scanning his exhausted features. Dre's eyelids fluttered open slowly, and a weak smile formed on his lips. "Yeah," he rasped, voice hoarse but steady. "I think I'm still here." He looked around, the glow of the relic's energy still faintly emanating from his armor. "We did it. We actually did it." Elizabeth let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. "You're incredible," she whispered, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "You risked everything. You're a hero, Dre." He chuckled softly, a little breathless. "Hero? Nah, just someone who didn't want the world to burn." His eyes drifted to the relic, now quiet and subdued, its once blinding glow dimmed but still pulsating faintly. That thing, it was more than just power. It was a curse and a blessing all at once. Suddenly, the distant sound of sirens echoed through the ruins, signaling that help was on the way. Dre struggled to sit up, grimacing at the pain shooting through his limbs. Elizabeth helped him, steadying him with a firm grip. "We need to get out of here," she said urgently. "The authorities will want to analyze the relic, and we can't stay exposed." Dre nodded slowly, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle over him. "Yeah," he murmured, "but I've got a question. What now? Is it safe?" Before he could finish, a booming voice echoed from a nearby loudspeaker. "This is Commander Rains. All units stand down. The threat has been neutralized. Secure the area and prepare for extraction." The voice was calm but commanding, leaving no room for doubt. Elizabeth looked at Dre, her face a mix of relief and determination. "It's over," she said softly. "We did it, but we're not done yet. There's still so much to do. That relic, it's dangerous, and now we know what it can do. We have to make sure it never falls into the wrong hands again." Dre's gaze fixed on the relic one last time, a strange sense of purpose filling him. "Yeah," he said quietly. "We'll protect it, no matter what." His voice grew stronger with resolve. "Because if we don't, who will?" As the rescue team finally arrived, rushing into the chamber with their medics and specialists, Dre felt a strange calm settle over him. His body was battered, his mind exhausted, but inside, a new dawn was breaking. The battle was over, yes, but the war for the future, one in which the relic might be a beacon of hope or a weapon of destruction, was only just beginning. He knew that his journey had changed forever, and somehow, deep inside, he was ready for whatever came next. The weight of the world was now on his shoulders, but he would carry it. For himself, for everyone who believed in him, and for the fragile hope that someday, peace could be restored. With a faint but determined smile, Dre prepared to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that he had already taken the first brave step into a future full of uncertainty and promise. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.